Let's get straight to it. The Panama Canal, for more than a century the lifeblood of global trade, is failing. Drought is choking it off, creating a bottleneck that's threatening just-in-time supply chains all over the world. But at the same time, a new continental artery is hardening, a single, seamless rail line running right from Mexico's deep-water ports straight to the factory floor in the American Midwest. One system is breaking down, another is being born right before our eyes.
This is Auto Read. We decode the machines and the markets that move the world.
You need to forget this old narrative of Mexico as just some low-cost assembly branch. What we're actually witnessing is the rise of a new transnational industrial core, a logistical and strategic nucleus for the entire future of North American automotive, and Mexico is right at the center of it.
In the sheer scale of this shift, well, it's immense. According to Mexico's Secretaría de Economía, 2023 saw a record-shattering $78 billion in auto exports to the United States, just to the US. This isn't just incremental growth, this is a fundamental recentering of the continent's entire manufacturing gravity.
Now, the logistical spine making all of this possible is the CPKC Railway. See, the merger of Canadian Pacific and Kansas City Southern created something that never existed before, the first and only single-line rail network that connects Canada, the US, and Mexico. This thing isn't just a set of tracks. You have to think of it as a rolling warehouse, a land bridge that completely bypasses failing sea routes and cuts out all those costly, time-sucking interchanges. It feeds parts directly from the port to the plant.
But look, this isn't just happening by chance. The why behind it is rooted in a really powerful regulatory mandate that was designed to force this exact outcome. We're talking about the United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement, the USMCA.
And for the auto sector, the core of the USMCA boils down to one single concept: regional value content, or RVC. In simple terms, this is the mandated percentage of a car's value that must be sourced from within North America if you want to avoid getting hit with punitive tariffs.
And right here is the critical change. As detailed in the analysis, impact of the United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement rules of origin, the USMCA dramatically tightened the screws. The RVC mandate jumped from NAFTA's 62.5% all the way up to a really stringent 75%. Now, this wasn't a friendly suggestion. It was a command to reshore production and seriously deepen those regional supply chains.
And this was all deliberate statecraft. Mexico's own Minister of Economy, Graciela Marquez, said it herself, plain as day. The goal was to force a greater degree of integration. The USMCA is basically an industrial policy dressed up as a trade deal, and it was designed to build a North American manufacturing fortress. But every fortress has vulnerabilities.
So, the first critical vulnerability is how China is strategically exploiting this new system. Just as North America tries to wall itself off, China is finding a way inside, and it's coming through Mexico.
The data here is absolutely undeniable. According to the Inter-American Dialogues report, China's presence in Mexico's auto sector, we're seeing a massive surge. Chinese auto parts exports to Mexico are on track to double in just 5 years, from $8 billion in 2019 to a projected $16 billion in 2024. This isn't just background noise, it's a strategic flood.
And this brings up a crucial geopolitical question. Is this the regional integration the USMCA was aiming for, or is it actually Chinese infiltration? Is Mexico becoming a backdoor for Chinese components to pour into the US market, sidestepping tariffs and undermining the entire point of the agreement?
And make no mistake, this isn't random trade. It is a coordinated strategy. Official reports from Ningbo province, a major hub for Tesla's supply chain, document that companies like Top Group, Xusheng, and Joyson are being actively mobilized to set up factories in Mexico. And their mission is clear: supply North American OEMs and embed themselves directly inside the fortress walls.
All right, so that's the first threat. The second threat to this whole North American vision isn't geopolitical, it's geological. The entire EV future planned in Mexico is being built on a foundation of lithium that is, yes, massive in potential, but critically unproven in practice. I mean, on paper, the numbers are just staggering. The feasibility study for the Sonora lithium project estimates resources of 8.8 million tons of lithium carbonate equivalent. That's one of the largest deposits in the world. Theoretically, it's enough to power the entire EV transition for the continent. But here's the paradox. You see, unlike the lithium triangle in South America, where lithium is basically just evaporated from salt brines, Mexico's reserves are chemically locked inside clay deposits. Freeing it requires a complex, super energy-intensive leaching process, a process that has never been done at a commercial scale. The resource is there, but the technology to get it out affordably is, for now, completely unproven. And this technical problem is then compounded by a huge political one. As the Mining Energy Public Policy of Lithium in Mexico analysis shows, a 2023 nationalization law just canceled private concessions. That stalled foreign investment and even triggered international arbitration with key players like Ganfeng Lithium. Meanwhile, the new state enterprise, Litio MX, has no significant budget for project investment. So the resource exists, but the means to actually extract and process it, they just don't.
So what's the forecast here? How do we reconcile Mexico's undeniable strategic importance with these really profound vulnerabilities? Well, the answer lies in understanding Mexico's true role in this new continental system.
And the most accurate way to frame this comes from the source, Mexico's automotive industry, a success story, which defines Mexico's position as an integrated periphery. What does that mean? It's an economy that has become absolutely indispensable to the core power, the United States, yet it remains structurally dependent on it, unable to set its own independent course.
So let's be clear, Mexico's destiny is not to become a rival to Detroit. It's to function as its most vital, most integrated, and ultimately its subordinate component. Its success, and really the success of this whole North American project, is totally conditional. It depends entirely on whether it can navigate the crosscurrents of the US-China rivalry and solve that immense technical and political paradox of its own resources.
Which leaves us with one final critical question. Has North America truly built a resilient industrial fortress for the 21st century, or has it just relocated its most critical vulnerabilities from halfway across the world to right across the border?
For data-driven automotive analysis, support our work by subscribing to AutoRead. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next breakdown.